beautiful. The church where he did where he turned the 5 loaves of bread and the few fish and fed the 5,000 people, and
yeah, as I say, most of the stories about the ministry and the Sermon on the Mount was preached up in Galilee, and
Canaan, which is next to Nazareth. That's where the story of the first miracle, where he turned the water into wine. It's the Cana wedding church.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess the point is just a tour of the Holy Land doesn't just mean going to Jerusalem. Even though, that's an experience that everybody ought to have. Whatever religion they have, whatever they believe about the stories in the Bible, Jerusalem is a key story in human history. The story of Jerusalem is. So many times Jerusalem has determined what the whole rest of the world is going to do. It's amazing, really, that such a small place has had such an impact.
And it's nice to see it for yourself. It's nice to go there and see it for yourself. Was Jesus in a scene?
I doubt if he was in a scene. Jesus, he did go. There's the story about Jesus going into the wilderness, the temptation of Jesus, with 40 days in the wilderness.
Is that Jericho?
Well, it's down in there somewhere. Yeah, we can't know for sure exactly where it is. There's some kind of connection between some of the concepts in Jesus' teaching and some of the concepts of the people, for example, at Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. But scholars are still working to try to see what the exact relationship of those things might be. There's a closer relationship actually between John the Baptist and the people at Qumran. He did a lot of things kind of the same way they did, go out in the desert and sort of reject urban life and so on. John the Baptist did that, and he ate locusts and wild honey and wore these rough clothes and so on, and went out there and really condemned the soft, decadent life that he saw being lived in the big cities.
And Jesus came to John the Baptist maybe before he really started his ministry, maybe supposedly after the Cana wedding, the miracle creating the wine out of water.
Well, the chronology is hard. As the Gospels line the story up, the baptism of Jesus is the beginning of his ministry, and then everything else happens after. But he's already an adult at that point. We know very little about Jesus.
He's probably around 30,
before
maybe.
That, yeah, we don't know much at all. We know that story about when he's 12 years old.
Right.
We know the birth
temple.
stories. We don't know a lot about the rest of his upbringing.
Right.
Which, by the way, allows people to speculate all sorts of wild stories. You read about Jesus going to India and
right, like where did he get all of these ideas?
Be careful also of people who, I say this with my book in front of me, but be careful of people who write books. They sometimes, the more spectacular their theory is, the more books they sell, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Well, it's wonderful to go visit the Holy Land and go walk the steps of what we think to be the steps of Jesus. And even though Jesus visited many places besides Jerusalem, there's a lot to see and experience, again, by visiting all of these places. And on Fridays in Jerusalem, you can walk with the Franciscan friars. They have tours that leave Friday afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's free. And you meet at what they say is Pilate's Palace, which is the first station of the cross. And many people on many days are carrying big, heavy wooden crosses throughout these tiny little streets in Jerusalem. It's beautiful. Jerusalem, you really have to go there.
And some of the greatest museums in the world. Don't go to Israel and not go to the Israel Museum. It's one of the great museums of the world.
That's where the Dead Sea Scrolls are?
That's right.
In the Book of the Shrine?
Yes. And if you get a little worried about, am I being told the real story, and what about what the guides are telling me and so on, you can count on the museums. When they give explanations for things in the museums, that's coming from the best qualified scholars in the world have studied those things. And so I always tell people, go over to the museum and see what the story is there. the Israel Museum and the wonderful museums throughout the city of Jerusalem. It's really important to see those.
Now, what about Jericho? Jesus was in, I think, Jericho, and
Yes.
Jericho is like the oldest inhabited, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on
Right.
the planet.
And Herod had another beautiful palace down in Jericho, and there's the Mound of Jericho, and of course people know the story about Joshua and the walls falling down and so on. That's a whole other story, but
And later, too, I think Mark Antony owned Jericho and gave it to Cleopatra as a gift.
mhm. And Jericho is also a wonderful place. Jericho now, as you probably know, is under the control of the Palestinian
Yes.
Authority rather than the Israeli Authority.
And that's where they have the church, there's another cable car that goes to the church on the mountain.
Up on the mountain. Lots of things to see in the Holy Land. Yeah.
Yes, again, it's wonderful, and I do encourage everyone to go see for yourself. Go on an archaeological dig. It sounds like so much fun, and the Holy Land is beautiful all through the Holy Land, and there's so much history and culture.
It's true. So I hope people will do that. We haven't even talked about the countries around, like Jordan and Egypt and Syria and Lebanon. You really need to make more than one trip, I think.
Definitely, and I hope that you'll consider being a guest again so we can talk about these other places.
I hope we can do that, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Travel Angel. I hope you're encouraged to go visit these places. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Donna Lynn. My guest has been Dr. John Wilson from Pepperdine University. Thank you and goodbye. See you next time.
Sei benedetta, Donna, benedetto il frutto del